Going by the name, business analysis seems to be all about analyzing businesses. As such, is it relevant to the non-profit space? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Let me start by giving you a hint. Yes, business analysis is very relevant to non-profit organizations. In fact, business analysis is probably more relevant to NGOs than it is to corporates. Okay, that depends on the specific scenario, but generally speaking, business analysis is very relevant in the non-profit space. How's that? Let's look right into it. Before we go on, please remember to subscribe to this channel, leave a like, leave a comment. Also, if you'd like more of my training, head over to businessanalysiscoach.com. I've got several great packages just for you. So, business analysis and the non-profit space. I made an assertion that non-profits need business analysts just as much as corporates, or even more. Why did I say so? Because non-profits are typically trying to handle complex operations. They're trying to do that with limited budgets. They are considering multiple stakeholders and donors, and they're trying to still serve a societal goal, some form of impact. So if you look at those dynamics, it implies that having business analysts is very essential to their operations. A single bad decision can affect several beneficiaries and can cost a lot of scarce resources. Let's break that down even further. You see, many non-profits run on assumptions. You often find them saying things like, "We think the community needs this. Donors like funding stuff like this. We've always done it this way." But many times they're not asking, what are the real problems? Who are the real stakeholders? What are the constraints? What will success look like after? And that is where the business analyst comes in. So what would the business analyst do? They would carry out proper and thorough needs assessment. The business analyst will use techniques such as interviews, surveys, workshops, observation, data analysis, and other techniques to find out what the real community needs are. So, for example, an NGO might think that rural women in a particular community need sewing machines. But by the time the business analyst has done his own investigations, he finds out that it's not really about the sewing machines, it's rather about access to sophisticated markets. Another thing that the business analyst does within the NGO space is process improvement. Many NGOs have messy processes, zero structure. Many times they don't have proper processes around how they register their beneficiaries, how they manage their volunteers, how they carry out monitoring and evaluation, how they track their donors, and their reporting. These are processes that a business analyst would map, find the waste, and redesign. And business analysts are also relevant when it comes to donor-funded tech projects. Sometimes the NGO needs to work on projects like monitoring and evaluation dashboards, donor portals, case management systems, mobile data collection apps, things like that. The business analyst is able to gather requirements properly to ensure that the developers don't build useless systems. The business analyst understands the stakeholders, gathers the requirements, defines the workflows, creates user stories, validates designs, does all of these to ensure that it's not just an expensive system that is useless, but it is something that is actually useful. There is also data and impact measurement. Part of the things that NGOs must do is to show that they're making impact. Business analysts help ensure that the data is seen to be reliable, consistent, meaningful, and correctly analyzed. So imagine that there is this health NGO that is running a mobile clinic. They're struggling with long queues, stockouts of medicine, missing patient records, bad reporting. What will a BA do in such a scenario? A business analyst would help them map their workflows. In this case, The business analyst might identify that they don't have standard processes, they have unclear roles, they have data captured on paper and lost, and they have very poor inventory management. So, by redesigning the workflows and introducing a simple digital tool, the business analyst is able to increase their efficiency and the clinic becomes 3 times more efficient. Let's look at another scenario. A youth empowerment program that does not empower. So there is this NGO that trains 500 young people every year, but only 3% of these people get jobs. The business analyst investigates and finds out that the curriculum is not linked to industry needs. They have a very poor candidate selection process. They have no employer partnerships. They have no post-training support, and they have no tracking system. So, what does the business analyst do? He redesigns the entire program and suddenly the employment rate jumps to 35%. Same budget, different results. Let me give you one more example. A donor organization wants a new reporting system. So the program team of the NGO says, let's build a dashboard. But the business analyst makes them pause and then he asks certain questions. Who will use it? What data do you actually have? What format? What about data quality? What reports do the donors need? In other words, the business analyst saves them from investing money in a system that would have failed. So, business analysts add immediate value. They can do that by helping to streamline processes, ensure better use of funds, creating better systems for monitoring and evaluation, helping to make better technology decisions, and ultimately helping to improve the impact of the organization within its community. All of this matters because if every NGO had the right people measuring impact, helping to streamline processes, and doing all of the incredible things that business analysts do, NGOs would make much more impact and we would see the results across Africa and the world at large. So, given that business analysts bring in so much value, why is it that a lot of nonprofits try to exclude the business analyst role? Well, it is because many of them are saying we don't have the budget. But what they don't realize is that they end up spending more because inefficiency is always more expensive. Also, some NGOs say we're not a business and business analysts are for businesses. Well, that's not true. A non-profit is a business even if their business is impact and not income. So every organization that handles people, data, processes needs a business analyst. And then many times NGOs say our program officers can do everything. But that's not true. Program officers are not trained to write user stories, to gather requirements, to carry out analysis. They're not trained for all of that. It's like putting a square peg in a round hole. The simple reality is that not having business analysts is one of the key reasons why many NGO programs lack scalability. They cannot expand beyond the little that they are already doing. So, if you're looking for a business analyst role and you would like to also make impact, consider the nonprofit industry. You're definitely much needed in that industry and you will find it to be very satisfying as well. My name is Olumide. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment. And if you'd like to get some more of my training, head over to businessanalysiscoach.com. You would find affordable training programs there. I also train for the programs of the British Computer Society. So if you want to get certified by BCS, the Chartered Institute for IT, just head over to businessanalysiscoach.com. I hope to see you in my very next video. Bye for now.